I've had trouble remembering, actually, when I first met Norman Foster, because he seems always to have been a presence somehow. I do feel as if I've just known him for a very long time, and he's also been such an important presence in architecture globally, but more and more in the United States in recent years. And I'm sure at some point after that we met. Perhaps it was around the time of the Hong Kong-Shanghai Bank, which brought him to another level entirely as an architect of international renown, and was transformative not only for the aesthetic of the skyscraper, but for his own practice. Over the time I've been writing criticism, I've watched Norman Foster grow from a respected but not central presence in global architecture to a very central presence in global architecture, absolutely. And I think of the two critical moments being first the Willis Faber building, which first put him on the international radar screen. And then, although he did many things in between, then the Hong Kong-Shanghai Bank, which brought it to a whole other level and made him a major force in international architecture. So often, there is the mistaken belief that we respect the past by mimicking it. You know, if you want something to work well with an older building, make it look like the older building. Well, in fact, while that is occasionally done and sometimes is done well, most of the time it's a kind of act of cowardice. It's not an act of any assertiveness. And whatever else can be said about Norman Foster, he's certainly not a cowardly architect. And he has chosen to address historical buildings by being assertively modern, by believing in the power of juxtaposition and creating very subtle but almost invariably elegant balances between old and new. I think Norman Foster's work is in dialogue with everything in the past that's good, not with any one particular part of it. I think if I look at the British Museum, it's in dialogue with the great classical building of the British Museum, as well as the extraordinary circular library that's part of it. If I look at the Sackler galleries in Piccadilly, at the Royal Academy, there it's in dialogue with that sort of remarkable structure and really complex of structures that it's a part of at the Royal Academy. In Nîmes, of course, the classical temple. I think in some ways it's not only a metaphor for being true to what one wants to be, it's a metaphor really for differences, for not pretending that everything is the same or should be the same. Saying that, okay, this building represented its time, we respect it, we love it, we learn from it, and we will take certain architectural cues from it in terms of scale and proportion and visual lines and visual connections of one kind or another, but we will not directly imitate it. Norman Foster's contribution is huge, and I think it consists of multiple parts, really. I mean, of course, the work itself comes first, and it's work that is very powerful aesthetically, has established really new paradigms for modernism. And it's work that in many ways is as modern and as committed to the modernist aesthetic as anything that has ever been produced, but at the same time has learned and absorbed ideas from the postmodern movement. And it's far more urbanistically responsible, and it's far more urbanistically sensitive, we might say, than the work of the modern architects that inspired its aesthetic from a prior generation. So that's the beginning of the importance. You know, his career is multifaceted, and we see different aspects of Foster from different projects. And so, I mean, some of them really do just lift your heart in a magical and lyrical way. Others solve problems in a really important and meaningful way. And some of them do both.